Morning and welcome to the 2013 Vero Beach Canvassing Board Election Certification Meeting and also our City Council organizational meeting for 2013. First, I'll ask our clerk, Tammy Bach, to call the roll.
Actually, our deputy will call the roll.
Mr. O'Connor?
Here.
Mr. Comment?
Here.
Mrs. Bach?
Here.
And if you'd please stand and join us, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mrs. Bach, first order of business, could you give us a report on the election?
Yes, we received the certified election results, and I'm happy to say that the election went very smoothly this year.
Very good. And we have a prepared resolution certifying the results and the outcome of the election. And I'd ask Mr. O'Connor, the city manager, to please read that aloud for the public record.
This is resolution number 2013-39, a resolution of the Canvassing Board of the City of Vero Beach, Florida, certifying the results of the November the 5th, 2013 municipal general election in the City of Vero Beach, Florida. Whereas the returns of the municipal general election held in the City of Vero Beach, Florida on November the 5th, 2013 have been tabulated by the Indian River County Supervisor of Elections and canvassed and certified by the Canvassing Board of the City of Vero Beach as evidenced by the certificate of the Canvassing Board, a copy of which is attached hereto and Exhibit A and the incorporated herein. And whereas the certified official election returns show that the results of the municipal general election are as follows. City Council, 2-year terms. 2 elected. Dick Winger, 2,044 votes. Amelia Graves, 1,631 votes. Brian Hetty, 747 votes. Tracy McLean Carroll, 961 votes. Joseph Buzzy Grafante, 207 votes. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Canvassing Board of the City of Vero Beach, Florida, that the results of the municipal general election held in City of Vero Beach, Florida on November the 5th, 2013 have been certified to be shown above in this resolution, with the result that Dick Winger and Amelia Graves are hereby declared the duly elected members of the City Council of the City of Vero Beach, Florida for the ensuing 2-year terms, all as duly tabulated by the Indian River County Supervisor of Elections and canvassed and certified by the Canvassing Board of the City of Vero Beach, done and entered this 8th day of November 2013.
Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion and resolution are approved unanimously. Would our newly elected and re-elected council members please come up, and the city clerk will swear you in at this time.
That I will support, honor, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States and of the state of Florida. That I am duly qualified to hold office under the Constitution of the state and under the charter of the City of Vero Beach. And that I will well and faithfully perform the duties of council member, of which I am now about to enter. So help me God. Congratulations.
Congratulations to you both. The Canvassing Board, is there any other business to come before the board? Hearing none. Canvassing Board will now adjourn its meeting, and if the council will come up and please take seats on the dais, we will go forward with the election of a mayor.
I want that edge seat.
I was going for the other one anyway. We have a crowd.
First order of business is nominations for election of mayor, and I'll open the floor for nominations.
I'll nominate Dick Winger.
Are there any other nominations for mayor? Hearing none, shall we just take a voice vote?
Yeah, let's do a voice vote.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor?
All in favor? Aye. Mr. Winger, congratulations.
Thank you.
Mayor Winger. Mayor, if you'd like to take over the meeting now, and we'll elect a vice mayor, and then we can arrange the seating.
Well, I'd like to nominate someone for vice mayor, but before I do that, you know, I look at the people that are up here, and I'm really pleased to serve with all of them. I mean, this is probably the smartest, most educated group that in my time we've ever had. There's at least three of these people, Craig, I'm sorry, you and I are in our 70s, that are probably headed for bigger things, and I think that's wonderful. There are four mayors up here now. I don't know, Tammy, whether that's ever happened before.
This is the first time.
Yeah, that's rather remarkable. And I mean, just think of the experience that brings. There are three from the island, and there's two from the mainland, Miss Graves and Mr. Fletcher. We represent a wide range of political views. There's one side of me, I won't mention which side, and there's some on the other side. And we certainly won't always vote the same. But I have every belief that we'll reach wise decisions and move the city of Vero Beach forward and give the people what they want in the most efficient manner. You know, as I look down the row here, Ms. Graves represents something great, someone young, new views, new experiences from the mainland, something particularly great too, a fifth generation, which I think is important. People who govern this town should either be from the town or have a great love for it, built upon time. And Mr. Fletcher has served 5 terms. He's been mayor twice. His father was mayor. He was born here. He probably has more institutional knowledge than the rest of us put together. And I think it's just wonderful to have him here. Mrs. Turner is a gracious lady. She was a great mayor. She's going to be a great member of this council. She's taken the lead in much of the work that's been done on the electric, and I'm hoping that she will continue to do that. She's been absolutely the one in the lead in one of our most important issues, maybe the most important, the lagoon, and it's just great to have her. And of course, Mr. Kramer beside me, I don't think it's any secret that he helped me early on. I've learned a great deal from him. He's got 2 interesting characteristics, and one is that he is a very creative individual. He has original ideas. He thinks of new approaches, things that would be good for the city. And the other thing is he's probably the best analytical person amongst us, which I think is a great thing. You know, I hope we look back in a year, the 5 of us, and we live up to the credentials that together we bring forward. I hope we can look back and say we've done you people a good job. But I have to challenge the 5 of us that we're going to have to work hard to do that. And we won't always agree, but I think as we have witnessed in the past, we'll have consensus a great deal of the time. And we'll debate some, and I think we'll seek a course that's the right one. With that said, I feel an incumbent that I would like to nominate Jay Kramer for vice mayor. And the reason I would is younger, experienced, brings some attributes that I don't have, and I would very much like to nominate him.
And seconds are not required,
Right.
so just nominations.
Mayor, you want us to mark the ballot and
I
send
don't
it?
think
pass it
we're
down,
quite
or-
finished yet. If I may, I would like to nominate myself for vice mayor. And the reason I bring this forward is not for any ego, but as I continue to negotiate on behalf of the city with the Florida Municipal Power Association and the other cities, although vice mayor is definitely an honor that does carry some clout with other cities as I go, having that title to my name. So therefore, I put my name forward.
So I believe there's two names put forward. Mrs. Vox, should we mark ballots?
Yes, please.
Unless there's a further one. Seeing no further name, each should mark a ballot and pass it in.
The new vice mayor is Jay Kramer.
With that said, I guess the next thing on the agenda is seating assignments and then public comment. Mrs. Turner, I'd like you to remain on my left and Mr. Kramer to be on my right, if you would, and I would very much like you to carry forward with the electric. It's my opinion, it's the will of the council, not mine, but I view your work as very important.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
So I guess, Craig, you and Amelia,
You need-
and Craig and Jay and I get to change seats.
I told you I was going to get to the seat. You got it?
Now get through.
Trip all this over. It's getting out either now. I can.
With that said, the next thing on the agenda is public comment. So whoever would like to make a public comment, raise your hand and come forward. Bill Fish.
Bill Fish, 2236 Buena Vista Boulevard in McCanch Park. Something that has happened in the recent past was the critical citizen councils. And I got a letter from Craig Fletcher firing me from the job. And he wanted to put in somebody that talked like him, thought his thoughts. I don't want my city run that way. I'd like to put those commissions back together again with the skilled people that we used to have, and we would get a very clear thoughts from the finance, all the commissions. And it was that's just not the way to run a city, is with political appointees. So please put them back the way they were.
Your comments are duly noted, and that'll be for action of the city council at a later date. I saw another hand. Was it Stuart or who was it?
Good morning, Council. Stuart Kennedy, Eugenia Road, Vero Beach. First of all, can I congratulate the re-elected and newly elected members of the Council? And I'd like to talk about the electricity issue. You have all, I believe, in your presentations during this election and other times, said that you are in favour of the sale of the electricity unit to FP&L. And on many occasions, the electorate has also voiced that opinion, that we do want to see electricity sold to FP&L. And I'm reminded that if you go up to the Kennedy Space Center and you see the building of the facilities up there, there is a saying up there, and it's also used in Apollo 13. And it was very simply that failure is not an option. And I would ask that in negotiating with FP&L, we do make sure that failure is not an option, and that the people of Vero Beach who've asked for the sale to take place do have it taking place. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stuart, and duly noted. And I think we're all aware of what the people of Vero Beach want, and I don't think anything really has changed. So be it. Who's next? Brian?
Congratulations, Mr. Mayor. I already extended congratulations to the new First Lady of Vero Beach. I did that before the meeting. That was a good guess. And anyway, and congratulations to Amelia. And I gave her heck out in the lobby. She'll get a lot of that over the next 2 years. And when she decided to run for office, the one thing that she surely knew is that if she ever got elected, she would have to put up with the wrath of Brian. And so I gave her heck this morning because I called to congratulate her, and she didn't return my telephone call. Well, apparently I'm calling the house number. I should be calling the cell number. So, Amelia, you get a pass today. But let me tell you, you're in for a 2-year education of a lifetime. And the most important, seriously, the most important thing you can do is answer your phone. For the next 2 years, return your telephone calls. Right? Really, seriously, just do that. Talk to people, and you'll be all right. You'll figure it out. But don't ignore people.
I won't.
And on that note, Mr. Mayor, you know you're not going to get away without getting a little help from Brian, right? And I really do wish you the absolute best for the next year. And I have a bit of advice for you, too. And that is, before you rule anybody out of order at this podium, before you do that, turn to Pilar. And if Pilar is shaking her head yes, okay, then it's okay to bang the gavel. However, you have to use Jay Kramer's gavel. And for those that don't know, Jay Kramer has a crystal gavel, and during his year, he never banged the gavel on one single citizen. Pilar was the same way. Not once was any citizen taken out of this meeting because the mayor didn't like what they had to say, or the vice mayor didn't like what they had to say. So if you're going to follow, or if I can give you any advice, or if you want to follow the lead of Jay and Pilar before you rule anybody out of order. She's got to be shaking her head, yeah, do it, go ahead, send them out. And you've got to use Jay's gavel.
Oh, Jay, would you bring in the crystal gavel and lend it to us for a year? I don't know. I think that's good advice. Hey, I have one thing for you, though. You used to call me a lot more than you have. You haven't called me for the longest time. I enjoyed those conversations, so put me down back in your directory.
Well, I can call you, and I'd be happy to do that. But, you know, publicly, I gave you a plan, and I can give this. Did I include this in your book? Was there a little leaflet in there? There was, yeah. I included a plan that would absolutely get the electric done. It would give everyone lower rates by January 1st of this year. And there's not a single council member that has called me up and said, hey, here's what won't work. No one from FP&L, no official from the city, no transactional attorney. It's pretty well public knowledge. and no one has called and said why it won't work. This plan will work, and it gets the county ratepayers out of our system by January 1st. The county is free. It gives us all FP&L rates by January 1st. It will work. It can work. And if you need somebody to make it happen, you can hire me. And I've done some deals before in my life. I can tell you that I had some bosses that hired me because I would get it done. I would get it done. I had a photograph in my office. It was signed to Brian Hetty with appreciation, and I had it in my office, and a member of the community came in and looked and said, "What the hell is that?" I said, "What's that?" I said, "That's Bill and Hillary Clinton." I said, "Yeah, it is." "Why would you have that on your wall?" I said, "Well, look what it says." And it says, "To Brian Hetty with appreciation," and it's signed Bill and Hillary. If you get something like that from a president or from the White House, if you have the opportunity to serve the White House at some time in your lifetime, the first thing you do is you seize the opportunity, and it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make any difference who the president is. You're serving the public. You're serving the people. And it doesn't make any difference to political party. I hope some people will not care about political party when it comes to you for the next 2 years. But anyway, liars, cheats, and thieves. This is a true story. Pilar is quoted in the newspaper as saying Brian did a lot of research and he got his facts right. Right, Pilar? I mean, that's not inaccurate. This is a true story. I'm the only person in the community that put this together. This, Amelia, can work. And if no other council, I asked the other members to make a motion for this, to just do it, just get it done, and they wouldn't. Maybe you will. Maybe at the next meeting, you'll make a motion. We really could. We could have rates by January 1 if this council has a mind to do it. It's not impossible. It can happen. Please help. Thank you.
Hey, Brian, would you give a copy of it to Mrs. Bach so that it can be circulated again and the media can have it clean, so when we talk about the Sunshine Law, we're okay?
Signed copy.
No, your plan.
Just a copy.
You can keep the book.
Thank you, Brian, for your comments, as always. Brian serves a very important purpose. He's, I'm a give away something about religious heritage, but he's the devil's advocate, and every place needs a devil's advocate. So thank you for being that. It's important. Other comment from the citizens? Come forward. Identify yourself and where you live and so on. Come on.
Hi, my name is Linda Morgan. I live Gifford, Florida, 3986 46th Street. My comment is I've known this young lady for 2 years now, and I worked with her on the Obama campaign. She was very instrumental in coordinating that part of it, the canvassing. And her work ethics were great. I could learn a lot from Amelia Graves, and I just want to applaud her today. I'm really excited for her. The FPL sale really doesn't affect me, but it does affect a lot of people around me. So I'm excited that she's aboard, and she's going to do her best, I know, to get that done. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Further comment? Mr. Day, we know where you live, but you should tell us yet again.
I hope I do. Good morning. Mr. Mayor, council members, for the record, Ken Daig, 1846 21st Avenue. I'd like to congratulate you, Councilwoman Graves. You worked very hard. And I know the rest of you on this council, you also work very hard. And we would ask you, as the public, please remember your duties. The folks put their trust in you. We look to you to keep our codes, keep our rules, make the very best decisions that you possibly can. The city is made up of neighborhoods where the people come from. Please, as you go forward, always keep that in the front of your mind. It's about the people that live out there in those neighborhoods. Please take care of us. We look forward to a very good year with you all. You have a lot on your plate. So anyway, God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Further comments? Seeing none, I believe I turn the podium back over to you, Wayne, and the Sunshine Law.
Well, let me just introduce our Assistant City Attorney, Peggy Lyons. She's going to give you a briefing on the Sunshine Law and public records. And any board or commission members that are present, please also, it's for your benefit too.
Good morning and congratulations again to our newly elected, our Dick, who was just here a couple of days ago. It probably doesn't feel like you left the chambers. And to our new mayor.
Peggy, I'm sorry, is that microphone on?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I'm just going to charge you all with talking into the microphone. The first thing I did was not do it. We always do a Sunshine Law and Public Records Law presentation, and I have seen that Sunshine presentation and done it so many times. In fact, Tammy and I did it just a couple of weeks ago for the Recreation Commission. So I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to do Peggy's top 10 Sunshine and Public Record Law questions. Probably won't be as exciting as Jay Leno, but it's questions that I've gotten mostly from the boards and commissions. This council this past year has just been excellent. Haven't really had that many questions except towards the end with the community forums. We had a flurry of questions then. But for the most part, you all know, you know the Public Records Law, you know the Sunshine Law, but we'll go forward with this and see how it goes. And I know we're up against an 11 o'clock deadline for yet another meeting, so I promised Jim I would be very quick. So the interesting stuff I had at the beginning of my speech, I'm going to leave off, except maybe one really good quote from Sarasota on the Public Records Law that I'll tell you at the end if I remember and if you remind me. But if you get a chance to just take a look on Google at Orange County TextGate this past year, it is just unbelievable. And if you can't find it, come by my office singly, of course, not all together, and I'll tell you about the facts of that case because it's just unbelievable what some elected officials can get in trouble doing. And I know you all won't. So with that said, let's go on the top 10 list, Peggy's top 10 list. Okay, the first one. I got this from a lot of people. In fact, I served hot dogs at the football game last night for the math team, and I got this question from one of the women in there. And it was, what is the Sunshine Law and what makes it so tricky? And it's funny, when I explained it to her at the football game, she was quiet for a minute, and then she said, that is a crazy way to do business. And it probably is, but it's the law. I felt like one of those old 1950 cops from an old TV show. It's the law, ma'am. And it is. So we're stuck with it. We might as well make the best of it. Okay, this is about as short as I can get it. The Sunshine Law is the right of people to access government meetings that are open and noticed and where minutes are taken. That's pretty much it. And it seems so easy and it seems so straightforward, but there are so many wrinkles, as Wayne and Tammy and all of you can attest. So my second question is going to be, what are some of those nuances or wrinkles? And here's just a couple of them. Open meeting sounds really obvious, but if there isn't enough space for everybody to be there, it's not open. If the public's required to pay a fee or buy a lunch, it's not open. If the committee meets out of town or in a place that isn't easily accessible to the public, it's not an open meeting. And this is a really strange one. If a governing body with ultimate decision-making authority is on a fact-finding field trip on a school bus, even where no one speaks to each other, they're seated a row apart, the press is invited along, it's not a legal open meeting. There are lots of wrinkles, and it's all in this book. And Tammy and Wayne and I are pretty good at ferreting out what's an open meeting and what isn't. So if you have any questions, you know where we are. Okay, number Number 2. Oh, wait, I had 2 more things in number 1. Okay, reasonable notice. It can depend on the circumstances. For example, reasonable notice here is usually published in the newspaper, on the website. That's kind of the traditional thing. But you ask any of the people here during the 2004 hurricanes, it was pretty bad. We didn't have any electricity. The press really wasn't up and running much, so we posted on the front door of City Hall, and that was reasonable under the circumstances. So even that can change. Minutes have to be taken. That can vary too. In a closed meeting where certain discussions about pending litigation are allowed as an exception to the Sunshine Law, Tammy's not even allowed into the meeting. It has to be a court reporter who takes the minutes. So there's all kinds of nuances. Number 2, so what do I need to remember to stay in compliance with the Sunshine Law? Here it is. Don't talk to other members of your board about public government business anyplace except at an open notice public meeting where minutes are taken. And I just went to Barbara Peterson of First Amendment Foundation's Sunshine Law presentation a couple of weeks ago in Stewart, and she advised to forget the old where foreseeable action may be taken language. That's from an old 1973 district court case. She says that what might be foreseeable today could well pop up on your council agenda tomorrow. So just remember, even if it's foreseeable or not foreseeable, if it's public government business, don't talk about it with these other people up here except in this chamber or when we tell you it's an open meeting. Does that include, number 3, does that include other forms of communication like email? Yes. And phone calls, and Twitter, and tweets, and text messages like Orange County TextGate, and instant messages, and BlackBerry messages, and Facebook. It's a whole new world out there, but the same rules still apply. Number 4, this is a big one. This comes up a lot. Can I ever send a written communication to the other members of my council, board, or commission? Yes, but only a one-way communication and only through the city clerk. Tammy's staff will make sure that the communication is added to your next agenda for all the members of your collegial body to discuss in the Sunshine. And this applies to all the boards and commissions too, not just the council who I'm talking to, everybody out there. Here's another one, number 5. I get this a lot. Can I talk about public government business to staff, my constituents, members of other boards and commissions? For example, your planning and zoning board, can you talk to them? Yes, probably, but with these considerations in mind. You can't evade the Sunshine Law by using staff or your constituents or members of other boards and commissions to be liaisons between you and members of your collegial body. You can't tell someone on the planning and zoning board, hey, will you tell Jay Kramer this? Or, that's just not done. You can't meet with more than one member of another board or commission. You can't meet with 2 members of your planning and zoning board, only one at a time. And for quasi-judicial matters, and I know you haven't done one yet, Ms. Graves, we did one Tuesday, but for quasi-judicial matters, and it's all in the materials that I gave you, you sit as a judge. And you can't speak to your constituents outside of this hearing because just like a judge, you want it to be all done here. And you have to hear all the testimony here. So, and by the way, all the materials I gave you, if you all have multiple copies of them from years past, just give them to Tammy, and I'll recycle them this year with the new boards and commission members. So. Number 6, as an elected and appointed public official, can I attend other government meetings? Can I make comments at those meetings? Yes and yes. But you cannot get into a back and forth discussion with another member of your same council, board, or commission on public government business. So you can come up to the podium, you can speak, but just be careful about the back and forth. This is a really tricky one, and I've had to mention this to a couple of the boards and commissions this year. There is a way to violate the Sunshine Law even when you're at an open notice public meeting. And that's by you're sitting at the dais in the meeting and you lean back and you chat with the person on either side of you so that nobody else can hear it. That's the Sunshine Law violation if you're speaking about public matters. And plus it has a kind of funny appearance of impropriety. And also, just like high school and grammar school, if you pass a note to somebody up there, that's a public record. And if somebody from the audience sees it, Orange County TextGate, you could be asked for that. And if you've destroyed it, or if you've texted back and forth with somebody in the audience and someone asks for it, and that's something I forgot to mention, or I guess I'm coming up to it on public records, but if you don't know how to save something, don't use that form of a medium. We'll get to that in a bit. Do I have to vote on a matter before my collegial body? Sorry, that's number 8. We're almost done. Jim, I'm doing good. Yes, you have to vote. There's a Florida statute that says you have to vote if you're up here, except when you have either a valid financial conflict, and that's spelled out in the materials I gave you, and if any of you need to talk to us about it, come see me. Or, and this is a bit trickier, or a personal bias so invasive that you just can't vote fairly, and it would deprive an applicant of fundamental due process. And we've had that come up a little bit over the last however many years we've been doing this, right, Tammy? Wayne? So otherwise, Florida statutes require that if you're present at a meeting, you have to vote. So if you've got one of these problems, come see us beforehand and we'll figure out some way. Okay, so now we're going to go into a little bit of public record stuff. Okay, what is a public record? It's any record that you create or receive having to do with the official government business of your collegial body. And here's the tricky part. Whatever you create has to be retained and preserved under the state retention schedule. Tammy's office is in charge of this. The state retention schedule is really interesting if you take a look at it. It actually goes through and lists what every different kind of document could possibly be and how long Tammy has to keep it. So, like I said, the best way to stay lawfully within the public records law, and that's the next question, is it's not the medium, it's the message that makes something a public record. It's not whether it's on your iPhone or on your personal computer or any of these other places, it's still a public record. And there's 1,084 public record exemptions. And they're scattered through state statutes, and they're kind of tricky to find. And the legislature tinkers with them every year. So it's hard for us to stay on top of them. So just whatever you do with public business, if you write it down in any way, shape, or form, and it doesn't have to just be written, it can be anything. The rules apply across the board, Facebook, the whole 9 yards. Just make sure that if you use it, you know how to retain it and give a copy to Tammy's office, because she'll keep all this stuff and make sure it's done correctly. Oh, that's it. Except, one more thing. I just want to mention the appearance of impropriety. I mean, it really is the court of popular opinion, and although an action might not reach the level where we're calling the ethics department in Tallahassee, if it just doesn't seem right to you, follow your gut instincts and just don't do it. If you get into a meeting and it doesn't seem like it's right, leave the meeting if it's not noticed correctly. Can you meet with other members of your collegial body and talk about anything else under the sun besides public business? Yes. Talk about the weather, Gator football if you can stand it, things like that. But just remember that the appearance of you two at a party off in a corner chatting together about Gator football, although it might be perfectly legal, just might not look right. And there's a lot of gotcha. There's a gotcha on the state level. We had a couple of brothers this past year, I don't remember their names, but they were giving public records requests to police departments all over the state of Florida. Tricky public records requests, the kind where Tammy and Wayne and I are scratching our heads and calling Pat Gleason up at the state. And then if you don't do it exactly by the rules, bang, they've got you. And there's local people like that too. I mean, there's a lot of wonderful people in this town, but there's, so just remember the appearance of impropriety, tuck it in the back of your mind. And if I can just have one more second to read that one. Okay. This is the best quote I heard all year on the public records law. And it came from a Sarasota city manager who tried to explain why his city's advisory board's series of really stupid and expensive missteps cost taxpayers $100,000 in legal fees by using their iPhones and gadgets to communicate with each other. He said, Florida's like a giant government nudist colony. We don't have anything to hide, but it's boring and not that attractive. And after that snarky quote, I just have to give one more quote. I really love this because I was raised in Vero Beach, and my family's been here since '58. which is nowhere near as long as the rest, some of you guys, but it looks pretty far back in the rearview mirror to me right now. But this came from a Florida Bar Journal article in May of 2013, and it was about a city. And the author says, towns are not just legal and governmental entities. They are places. They exist in people's minds and hearts. And with that, I'll close. Thank you.
Mrs. Vach, is there no further business?
Just one item, the appointments to the commission and boards. If you can just look at, I've given everyone a copy, look at that and make sure that they're the same committees that you want to remain on, or if you'd like to change, just let me know, and I will put this on our November 19th agenda.
Okay, and you and I already know of one potential change, so that's a topic for us to discuss. Go ahead, Ms.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, could I request that when we do review these, that Ms. Vach provides us who's actually sitting on these commissions?
That's provided. There's two of them. You should have gotten the other one.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I didn't realize that. The copy there. Thank you very much.
If there's no further business, may I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you very much for coming.